Well, good morning, everybody. So very nice to be here together. And to start off, please repeat after me. I don't feel like everybody did that. So one more try with feeling. That was better. That was definitely better. So welcome to the Relaxation Channel on the Relaxation Network on Relaxation TV. So I'm not kidding. Dzogchen is distinguished and known by as the comfy cozy path to liberation, which is one of the paramount virtues that it has and what some people consider the paramount path. Relaxation is central to Dzogchen. It's not something you do while you're practicing. It is practicing. Like if you're practicing a musical instrument or singing or something like that, they might say, it's important that you relax and have muscular tension and all that, and you relax while you're playing. Here, relaxing is the whole thing. So we'll get to that. So here's my promise to you today. There are going to be no spiritual vegetables to eat. It's going to be all cake and ice cream for now. Only things that are going to make us feel good and support our practice and liberation. Each and every one of us totally deserves that. Enough straining, enough trying, enough effort. I've had enough. I know some other people who have had enough, and I'm suspecting that we've all done more than our share. So, welcome, and let's take it easy. To start off, traditional part of our practice is taking refuge. And technically, we're taking refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, but we don't need to unpack that very hard. I think we can kind of take the easy way and go directly for the common sense dictionary definition of refuge, which is finding a place of safety. And the way to find it is just to let this be it. We're here together. We're not in a zendo. Nobody's hitting us with a stick. As near as I can tell, nobody's on fire. So let's just appreciate that we have this time and feel into this safety of being here for just this moment and to take refuge from everything that's outside going on. We might have all sorts of views and judgments about the state of everything, about the future, about the past. And the refuge that's available is just to put all that down for a minute. Let's just let that go. They say that happiness is created in the mind and suffering is created in the mind. So let's just take a few minutes to just stop that and just let ourselves be here and feel into the fact that just for the moment, we're safe and we're okay, just for now. And so let's just kind of do a minute or two of refuge practice by just relaxing into that space of safety and security. We can close our eyes for a minute. Take a deep exhale, inhale, let it out. Let our jaws relax. Just hang a little bit. Let the skin around our eyes relax. Those little muscles. The flesh of the face. Shoulders, arms, chest, belly, legs, feet. It's the whole deal just permeated by the feeling of taking refuge, the felt sense in our body that we're finding a place of safety right here. To the extent possible, let's just let go of our mental activity, chattering or whatever. We're on break. We can get back to that later. And when you're ready, slowly opening your eyes. Oh. So, chatting with Lama Surya recently, and I should take a moment to just acknowledge him as a wonderful teacher and the lineage that he embodies and transmits, going back to the Buddha, but notable stops at Nosho Kempo and Wancham Baba. It's nice. There's something comforting about knowing that we're not making this up. This is a tested tradition of practices and outlooks and teachings that we can rely on that really work. So, having said that, talking to Lam Surya recently, we mentioned the practice of metta, and he said, that's something that I practice much more than I've taught over the years, and it's a very good practice. And so let's just take a moment. I see Eddie Haubin, who's a metta master. Let's just take a moment to send some metta first our own way, because again, we deserve it. So for this, let's just both think of these phrases as they come up and just try and at the same time put some attention right on our heart, like our physical heart, right in the middle of our chest, and just kind of have that dual awareness of what we're thinking and feeling it coming to or going to or connected with our heart center. So may we be well and healthy. May we be safe and secure. May we know happiness and the causes of happiness. May we be free of suffering and the causes of suffering. And may we know joy and the causes of joy. Whatever view we have of ourselves, let's just give ourselves the benefit of the doubt that we absolutely, thoroughly, 100% deserve those well wishes. And let's take a moment to send those same wishes to everybody who's on this Zoom today. May they be well and healthy. May they be safe and secure. May they know happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they know joy and the causes of joy, and feel that everyone on this Zoom, all 53 of them, just sent those very wishes to each and every one of us. And now, last one, because we could do this for a long time, but we won't. Let's extend those wishes to all beings. May all beings be well and healthy. May all beings be safe and secure. May all beings know happiness and the causes of happiness. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings know joy and the causes of joy. Ah, so I want to read something for you guys. So this is from Longchenpa, who's, maybe the great, specifically Dzogchen sage of all time, 13th, 14th century master. I'm going to read a passage from his book called The Basic Space of Phenomenon. It's called The Precious Treasury of the Basic Space of Phenomenon. So bear with me for a second because there are a few of these, but feel into what he's saying here. It is of no concern whether or not all phenomenon are timelessly free. It is of no concern whether or not the way of abiding is pure by nature. It is of no concern whether or not the mind itself is free of elaboration. It is of no concern whether or not anything has ever existed within fundamentally unconditioned genuine state. It is of no concern whether samsara and nirvana are by nature a duality. It is no concern whether or not all thoughts and expressions are transcended. It is of no concern whether or not confused attempts at proof and refutation are demolished. It is of no concern whether or not the view to be realized has been realized. It is of no concern whether or not you meditate on the ultimate meaning of the true nature of phenomena. It is of no concern whether or not you engage in examination, since there is nothing to accept or reject. It is of no concern whether or not the way of abiding has ever existed as the fruition. It is of no concern whether or not you've traversed the paths and levels of realization. It is of no concern whether or not you're free of all obscurations. It is of no concern whether or not the development and completion stages perfect your true nature. It is of no concern whether or not the fruition of liberation is attained. It is of no concern whether or not you wander in the 6 states of samsara. It is of no concern whether or not the nature of beings is spontaneous presence. It is of no concern whether or not you are bound by dualistic perceptions or affirmations and denial. It is of no concern whether or not you have arrived at the enlightened intent of the true nature of phenomena. It is of no concern whether or not you follow in the footsteps of the masters of the past. So my reading of that is Longchenpa basically dealing with every single thing that the teachings teach, say, at which covers kind of all of existence and all the realms and everything else, is saying, man, don't worry about it. And I love that. Don't worry about it. How great is it that that's the message from one of the great sages of all of human spirituality and religion is don't worry about it. Relax. So why should we? Why shouldn't we worry about it? I mean, obviously, we have concerns. The world is a dumpster fire. We have personal issues, problems, impermanence, all of that stuff. And, I'll offer a quick answer and then we'll get down to really practicing. But the answer in a nutshell seems to me, we are that which we seek. We are the God of fire, made of flame, made of divinity itself, made of consciousness, made of awareness. And yet we often find ourselves, God and goddesses of fire that we are, standing on a street corner, hat in hand, begging strangers passing by for a match when we're completely made of fire. Or we're people who feel like we're starving and thirsting to death, and yet we're made of food and water. Our whole bodies are that. Or we're the famous beggar sitting on the side of the road, sitting on a box, not realizing that it's full of treasure. So, so what's the treasure? What's going on is simply that, well, let's do an experiment. Let's close our eyes for a second and open them and notice that we see things and we hear things. And in short, we have this consciousness. We are awake. Doesn't matter anything about it. We are that. I mean, we can do exercises and introspect and try and find the little person behind our eyes with their hands gripped on the wheel, controlling everything. But, to skip to the punchline, it's a fool's errand. There's no such thing. Instead, what there is there's this. And this, in the mere fact of presence, in the mere fact of consciousness, in the mere fact that there is awareness, is astonishing. Presumably there didn't need to be. So why don't we simply revel in the amazing nature of this fundamental fact about what we really are? I mean, this is us. This awakeness is our very nature. And maybe the answer to why we're not just celebrating that all the time is that we're like the fish swimming around who can't see the water. It's too close. We can't see it. It's so simple. We can't understand it. It's so good. We can't believe it. It's right here. And yet, when you settle into the recognition that this astonishing consciousness, this astonishing awareness is who and what we are, little split off fragments of the ocean of consciousness. We are the ocean, conscious, timeless, beginningless, and endless, identifying as a wave. And we feel and fear, the wave's got all sorts of issues, like the wave's barrel-assing to shore, it's gonna dissipate and it's not gonna be a wave anymore. It's a panicky situation. But if we disidentify with our wave small self and identify with the ocean, there's nothing to fear. The ocean's not going anywhere. The ocean's not going to change or be affected by wind, currents, clouds. It's always the ocean. It's always made of water. So in terms of what do you do with these notions, there's not much to do. It's like trying to attain something. And Dzogchen teachings that's another funny thing about them is they'll often disparage all of the ways and all of the practices and other forms of Vajrayana or other forms of Buddhism as like, you don't need any of that. All you need is to get the fact that you are awareness, that you are awake, that you are enlightenment itself. And that, yeah, maybe it's too good to believe, but when you see things with ocean consciousness as the ocean of consciousness, there's nothing to do but relax, central to the project. Relax and bask in the awareness that you already are, whether you realize it or not. Take Juan Champa's word for it. Don't worry about it. You don't need to. That's enough blah, blah, blah. Um, let's do some practices. There's practice. Actually, Elizabeth and I went to a meditation thing for lawyers at Omega last weekend, for which I got CLE credits, which was great. And we pull into the parking lot, and the woman, young woman who's like directing people to where they should park, said, what program are you here for? And I said, we're here for meditation for lawyers. And she said, oh, you guys really need it. So I said, thank you very much. Yes, we do. But here was a meditation that came out of that, which I thought was really lovely. So let's do this. And we'll do a few kind of more conditioned practices with some visualizations, and then we'll get to the pure Dzogchen, as Lama Surya calls it, of just practicing relaxed awareness. But to kind of help get there, let's first do this practice, which involves imagine yourself as the ocean, and from a point of view that's maybe 100 yards offshore, and just feel being the ocean at kind of that distance from shore, and there are waves arising and heading towards shore, gently rolling into shore. And as any thoughts or feelings arise, imagine them just kind of drifting up as bubbles to the surface and being carried gently to the shore away from your point of view until they get to the shore and the wave dissipates into the shore and the bubbles just disappear into the sand. What I thought was particularly lovely about this is we can just feel any thoughts, any feelings just gently coming up and floating to the surface and just being carried away from our kind of point of consciousness. Let's just do that for a few minutes. Notice that there's something wonderful about the kind of spatial aspect of just seeing as thoughts and feelings receding away from you and disappearing. Gently open your eyes. So, Inertial Chem, one of Lama Seria's main teachers, says, "Crush the eggshell of the mind and unfold your wings in the open sky." Let's do a practice that kind of dissolves the sense of inner and outer. Let's imagine and feel into our bodies as we're sitting here, filling every bone, muscle, cell with our awareness, just inside our bodies. Imagine the outline of your body and imagine everything inside kind of glowing with awareness that you can feel from the inside and feel it. Welcome any sensations, any feelings. Just vividly aware of our bodies. Now let's invert that and drop the awareness inside our body and imagine a field of awareness outside of our bodies. You can hear sounds in the room, you can feel the air on its skin, but the outside, ignoring the inside as if it were a black cutout from the universe. Just feel that outside, that whole kind of infinite field outside your body. And when you're ready, feel both of these fields at once. We're just merging into each other with no separation. Drop any image of the outline of your body. Feel and sense inside and outside whatever you feel and sense. But don't mentally construct an outline. If you feel your body touching a seat or any other stimulation, just let that hang there in space, isolated. So really paying attention to exactly what we're feeling, but not filling in anything we're not feeling. Maybe you'll feel kind of spaciousness. merging. Okay, when you're ready, gently open your eyes. They're not already open. So one way to think of non-meditation practice is just allowing a shift from foreground to background, or maybe to put it in the context of relaxation, relax the focus on thoughts and just, I'm not trying to get rid of them or anything, but just notice that thoughts are just a small fraction of what's going on. And as we let those subside or recognize their boundedness, what else is there? There's this field of awareness that's always there that maybe sometimes we don't notice because we're caught up with our thoughts. So just letting our attention shift to that background awareness. And that shift can carry with it a sense of expansion. Like our awareness is simply getting bigger. There are some metaphors that come out of our tradition, like don't look at the sky through a straw. Well, the straw is that thinking, and it's that sense that I'm a self inside this body and everything else is out there. But we're letting go of that feeling of separation, really feeling into the whole vastness. And to take this a step further, let's just imagine our awareness extending in front of us, way beyond what our senses of sight and hearing and smell can perceive, but just letting our awareness travel infinite distances in the direction that we're facing. And any time our awareness seems to hit some sort of boundary or obstacle, then just feel into what's on the other side of that. It's like looking for darkness with a flashlight. There's no boundary that can persist in the face of our awareness. And now, while maintaining awareness infinitely in front of us, let's send our awareness infinitely behind us. passing through whatever walls, buildings, neighborhoods, zooming right off the planet through the solar system, galaxies, universe, multiverse. Notice this takes no effort. Now let's center awareness in a sphere, 360 degrees, back and forth, left and right, up and down, everywhere, pervading all space and time, and beyond space and time. And one last thing, let go of any sense that there's a center to this cosmic awareness that is you. Yes, you have a body. Yes, you have senses. They have certain spatial locations. But in this meditation and possibly in cosmic reality, those are just feelings and perceptions. So they're welcome as feelings and perceptions, but we don't have to believe that that's the truth of what's happening. Let those just be feelings and perceptions in the vast field of awareness. Vast, centerless field of awareness. Okay. Let's gently open our eyes. Now we'll shift into pure non-meditation, where there's nothing to do, nothing to accomplish, nothing to remember. No effort is required because we're already awake and aware. Can't help it. We can't stop it. Complete presence, welcoming, absolutely anything that arises. It's all part of the natural great perfection of Dzogchen. In this open space of awareness, it is perfectly appropriate to take a breath and say, ah, you can try and do something if you want, but it's really not required or helpful. As Ken McLeod says, trying to attain it is like trying to attain your feet. You already have them. Nothing to do but enjoy resting in our true nature. Now, we're doing a great job relaxing. Let's relax 10 times as much. The count of three. One, two, three. relaxing any feeling of separation. You know, you looking out at it, just this, just this experience. No one experiencing, just arising by itself. Okay, when you're ready, open your eyes if you have them closed gently, very gently, slowly. So let's follow tradition, and it's good spiritual practice and good for us to dedicate the merits of our practice to give them away to everyone else. And we'll just do a short couple of readings to that effect. I'll put them on the screen. Okay. The dedication of virtue to complete realization in English. Through this virtue, may we swiftly realize and fully embody the needful great perfection, and thereby bring all, without exception, to its complete realization. And down below, the bodhicitta dedication. May the pure, brilliant sun of bodhicitta dawn in each and every heart and mind, dispelling the darkness of suffering and confusion unstoppably until all are illumined and awakened. We have a few minutes for questions, and almost never has anyone asked a question. So I'm giving a $50 gift certificate to anybody. No, I'm not. But if there are any questions, I'd be happy to respond. Lama Surya doesn't say answer, and he says respond. And if he doesn't answer, believe me, I don't answer. But I would be happy to respond if anyone has questions. You can put them in the chat or raise your hand. Okay. I don't see any. So next time I'm going to make it $100 gift certificate that I won't really give anyone. Thank you all so much. It's so, oh, wait, there's a raised hand. Hi.
Hey, John. Here, I'll get that. What's your thought on going into the clear light, Rigpa, and then turning it back on itself? The expansive awareness, so it's vast and it's everything, or underlies everything, but turning it back on the body, all around the body with awareness, directing it at awareness from head to toe. I mean, it feels immense, like the energy just. And I just wondered if you had a thought on that. I don't know. I'm kind of like the experimental person. I'm just like, hey, okay, I'll try that, and then. But it hasn't always been the best result for me too, because I'm just like jump in.
I mean, personally, I'm totally on board with trying things, especially if you like, especially if they're kind of grounded in things that, are part of the teachings or we already know to be true. But something like that, experimenting with what you can do with your awareness and ideas of the rainbow body. I'm curious, like, how has it felt for you? You said it feels
It,
powerful.
It's like the whole body's numb because there's so much energy going, from the whole thing is just like inflamed with energy, but not in a negative sense. It's just immense. It's like,
Sounds pretty good.
yeah, I don't know. It's like if you were to jump in, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it except immense energy from head to toe.
Yeah. I mean, my hot take is that sounds lovely, Eric. I'll try it. I doubt that you can hurt yourself doing that. So if that feels beneficial, I'd say go for it.
Maybe through the process it'll heal the MS stuff, maybe.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking a question. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, John.
Uh, well, I don't see anyone else. So thank you all so much. Sincerely, it's wonderful practicing together. Have a wonderful rest of the day.